Hello and welcome to another losing edition of Pittsburgh Sports Memories Current Events. We do this once a week during football season just for fun. As usual, I'm your co-host Steve Wirt, and I'm joined by,
I'm Tim Hannon.
and we'll start with Penguins hockey since they're kind of having success. They lost to the Kings 3-2, and it was another third period collapse. This seems to be a trend from last year. Although I'll say 3-2 isn't like last year where they were giving up like 6 or 7 goals, it seemed. I'm not sure why. There's a different coach now, and it seems like they're following his strategy a little better. Um, Still lots of odd man chances from the highlights I watched. So I mean, while things change, much things stay the same. That's your good old Penguins. They seem to love giving up odd man chances. And the new goalie started. He didn't look bad. I can't pronounce his Russian name. Can you pronounce his name, Tim?
Morishov.
Marashov. Okay, there we go. So we got two of the most impronounceable names in goal right now: Shilhovs and Marshov, and Khrushchev and Baryshnikov, and I don't know who else. Stalin. I don't know. Um,
Stalin would have been a great goalie.
Yeah, you just would have got shot if you scored. It's like when Putin plays hockey. It's kind of like
Yeah,
you ever see like Putin, and he
yeah.
really does play hockey. It's not as fake as like Kim Jong Un playing
But
golf.
the opponents are fake.
No, they're real people, but it's like everybody just kind of like, oh no, the goalie's like, oh no, he scored another goal. Anyway, um, he let's see, 4-3-3 in the last 10 games, but that's not as good. That looks respectable, but they are 1-3-1 in the last five. So that's kind of a problem. The Penguins' record overall is still 9-5-3. They're 21 points. They're now in third place, but don't feel too bad because they're only 1 point behind the Devils and Hurricanes. They're probably going to need to turn it around a little bit here and get back to their winning ways if they have any plans of making the playoffs. I think I've said this rule before. Normally where you finish at in the standings around Thanksgiving is where you finish at the end of the year. I don't know why that is in hockey, but it seems it like 9 times out of 10 that seems to work out. So we'll see where the Penguins are in 2 more weeks. So
Yeah, there's literally a statistic for that, and it is something like 9 times out of 10. Yeah, it's a young team. That's 2 games in a row where they blew a third period lead. But again, it's a young team, and it's going to be one of those like it's just going to be an up and down season. I think. I mean, again, none of us were expecting 9-5. Everybody was expecting like tank for McKenna. And so, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I hope they do. I kind of would like them to see them make the playoffs. Like Crosby and Malkin are getting up there, and I mean, I don't even know if they'd make a run. Quite honestly, they might get blown out in the first round, but you never know. You get in the playoffs. It's like any playoff. You get in, just getting in. You never know what can happen. Especially like let's say that rookie goaltender gets hot. That's the big equalizer in hockey is your goaltending. So in other Penguins news, and I know Tim is really excited about this, the 30th anniversary of sudden death is happening this year. Christmas week of
Ah,
1995, sudden death was released. I mean, it's a cinematic masterpiece. I mean, Powers Booth, John Claude Van Damme, terrorist in the Civic Arena, Paul Staggeroil swearing. What else could you ask for there, Tim?
I just went and saw in a movie theater last week the 40th anniversary release of Back to the Future.
Oh, they
If
did it again. Oh man, I saw it at the. I think I saw that in 2015.
Okay, yeah, they did
Yeah.
it again for the 40th.
Oh, wow.
At the well, a couple of theaters, but we saw it at the one up at Waterworks.
Oh, that's
Uh,
fun. Yeah.
but if I don't think they'll probably be putting sudden death back in theaters if I had to guess.
Maybe Howard Baldwin's really broke.
Yeah.
So that ends the hockey portion of our current events here. So let's get into football palooza. Yeah. In college, Pitt was off, so no real big news there. They're going to play Notre Dame in a big game on Saturday. And in other good news, College Game Day will be here. Pat McAfee will be here. They're taking a break from their SEC schedule. I guess they got sick of visiting Ole Miss in Alabama every other week, so they're coming up here. You go and like it's always funny. Like when they go to any other college campus, there's like a million people, but when they come to Pitt, there'll be like five people milling around. Like, I mean, they don't even come on campus either. Like they go down by the stadium, which
Right.
I never understood. Like, shouldn't they be doing that in Oakland? I mean, that would make the most sense, I would think.
Yeah, but that's not where the game is. So
But they
I
don't
get it.
always like. I think in the other colleges they don't do it right by the stadium.
But the other
Like,
colleges, the stadium's still on campus. Either way, it's exciting.
uh, Penn State lost to Indiana. What are they? 3-6 now. WVU won over the Fighting Deion Sanders, otherwise known as the University of Colorado. They keep their bowl hopes alive. So, like, I kind of thought WVU would go this year, go this way. They would be kind of bad early and then get better as the year go on. Because as much as you might not like Rich Rodriguez, he is a good coach. So he knows how to put a football team together. And by the way, fun fact: Deion Sanders has been bowl ineligible at Colorado 2 out of the 3 years he's been there. So, yeah, he's got that going for him. Let's start. Let's get into the Steelers here. We'll start with the Steelers. Are they going to draft a quarterback in 2026, Tim?
Yeah, so this was interesting. I started thinking about this week
Because
because
they've
we're
got, well, they're kind of at point break, huh, with 5 wins. If they win more games, they're going to fall out of the top 10, that's for sure. Which they probably are. I can't see them winning less than 7 games this year.
correct. Like I think we're at the point in the season where the draft order it's not totally set, but you have it's directionally correct. And when you look at the if you look at the list of who's probably going to draft in front of us, there's a whole bunch of teams in front of us that will need quarterbacks. So that's
All right.
not good for the Steelers because that means we're gonna be looking at like the seventh or so potentially best quarterback, depending on how much of a run there is on quarterbacks. Not everybody that needs a quarterback is necessarily going to take one in the first round. And there's free agency, and look at like somebody signed Sam Darnold last year. The Raiders traded for Geno Smith. Like there'll be other things that happen that aren't draft picks, but it just doesn't really bode well for the Steelers getting their quarterback of the future because there's just so many teams in front of us that need a quarterback. So
Fair enough. Yeah. So we said Jets. Yeah, they're probably going to draft a quarterback, especially after that crazy owner ripped on Justin Fields. It was funny. He ripped on Justin Fields, and then that week, Justin Fields had like a 300-yard passing game. So maybe
yeah,
maybe that's what Justin Fields needs is a little bit of a kick in the butt. I don't know.
yeah. And then last
Um,
week he had like 56 yards passing. So apparently that
it did.
only works against the Bengals.
That's it. well, the Bengals make everybody look good, I guess. The Raiders, Geno Smith and Kenny Pickett probably aren't gonna hack it there,
Yeah, the
huh?
Saints.
The Saints, yeah, we are kind of debating over the Saints. I think I meant to say yes, they will be drafting a quarterback because definitely Spencer Ratliff stinks, but I'm not sure about this Tyler. What's his name?
Shock. Yeah,
Shock.
yeah. They might give
I'd
him
be
more time.
shocked. I'd be shocked. I mean, he is 26, but that's not. I mean, that's like Kenny Pickett age. I don't know. Browns. Do you think the Browns will be drafting a quarterback
Yes,
again?
yes.
I mean, I don't know. I guess
You
sure,
think you think that they're really comfortable with Dylan Gabriel as their future?
but they have that Sanders kid.
Do you think they're really comfortable with Shedeur Sanders as their future?
Well, that's why he's the backup because they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel, like I never thought he was all that great. I never did like. I don't
And
know.
he's proven you right.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he might be a backup, but I never. I don't know. His arm strength just isn't that great, and he's kind of short, quite honestly. He's a discount Baker Mayfield, quite honestly.
They also have Jacksonville's first round pick, Cleveland.
Oh wow,
And right now Jacksonville's right around where we are.
yeah,
So so
yeah.
so that's even more the reason why I think they're going to draft a quarterback, because they have two picks, so they don't have to take quarterback or bust.
Yeah, Dolphins. By the way, we forgot about the Dolphins. I guess they're gonna part ways with.
They'll probably move on from Tua. Cardinals will probably move on from Kyler.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Like, I don't know. I didn't think he was playing that badly, but I guess with what they have that veteran Brissett playing,
Yeah.
so I guess they figure
So
he's
so so so, so,
expendable.
so what's that? We named like 7 or 8 teams. That's what I mean.
That's
I
one,
think,
two, three, four, 5 teams bare minimum. Like
yeah,
that's conservatively,
right.
like 7 teams possibly. Yeah.
So the Steelers might be looking at, I don't know, some kind of different path forward, which kind of stinks because you're really hoping for a quarterback. One really harebrained scheme idea that I had. So we talked about Kyler Murray. Do you remember the circumstances of when the Cardinals drafted Kyler Murray?
No, I don't.
So they had the number one pick in the draft in whatever year that was, 2018, 2019. And the year before, they had selected a first round quarterback. They had selected Josh Rosen.
That guy was bad. I don't. He looked like. See, he's the opposite of Kyler Murray. He looks like an NFL quarterback, but he's not very good.
Yeah. And everybody was like, well, they have the first pick, but they're not going to draft the top quarterback. They'll probably trade it because they just drafted a quarterback, and they drafted a quarterback anyway. And then they traded Rosen to, I think, Miami for like a second or third round pick.
That actually ended up being a very smart move because Kyler Murray's at least been mediocre.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It was a smart move. So my harebrained scheme is, I just wonder in the back of my head if the Titans, who might have the number one overall pick again or close to it, would take the same route.
Trade, trade. Oh,
Cam Ward.
oh, okay.
He's been bad.
He's been bad, but the Titans are a bad team, unfortunately. But once again, I don't think their defense is terrible again. It's just their offense is a total disaster.
Yeah, and then they fired their coach, and they're a
Yeah.
poorly run franchise. So, like the Cardinals. So would they consider? Because I really liked Cam Ward coming out of college. Like he was a guy that I was really thought he's very Ben
So
Roethlisberger.
this would be the opposite of what's it called?
Josh Rosen. Yeah, this would be the Titans trading us Cam Ward for like a second or third round pick because they have the number one pick and
Well,
they really want Mendoza or whoever for who's ever the hot college quarterback. I think that has about a 1% chance of actually happening. But it just made me think there's precedent. The Cardinals did that with Kyler. The Cardinals are like, well, we drafted a kid in the first round, but we really like this other kid coming out of college, and we just can't pass him up. So we'll jump ship early and take the other guy, and it could happen. And I think Cam Ward could still be a good quarterback if you put him in a decent offense. If you put him with good coaches, you didn't fire his coach 4 weeks into the season. I think he's capable. Um, Again, like I said, 1% chance of happening, but I'm clutching at straws here, Steve, because I don't see a real good path to the Steelers getting their quarterback of the future.
Aaron Rodgers for the second year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
He's not been terrible. Well, we'll talk about that next.
Well, yeah, minus last week. He's been pretty good, but at some point we got to move
It's
forward.
what do they call diminishing returns? I think that's what you're probably getting into.
Yeah, and it's just how many years are we just going to keep piecing together a team? We're doing good with on mostly with the rest of the team with young players. We talked about that last week. You have Peyton Wilson, and you have Jalen Warren, and you have the offensive linemen. Like some of these recent draft picks are starting to develop, starting to build a team.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I just keep comparing it to the early 2000s. It was the same trajectory, and what brought it all together was drafting the quarterback. That's what brought it all together. That's when they started really going from like middle of the road to Super Bowl contender and then Super Bowl winner. And that's what they need to do now. And that's where, like I said, I have some concern about next year's draft because it's feeling like they're not going to have a shot at much. Now, here's another thing to think about, Steve. My brother mentioned this to me. How far do you think Drew Aller falls because of the injury?
That somebody mentioned that to me the other day. I don't know. That's a good question.
And would you want Drew Aller? I'm not sure that I do.
I don't. I don't know. I haven't watched him much, quite honestly, and it's tough to judge. He's in like there. That's like not the greatest offensive system they have up there at Unhappy Valley right now, because like I don't think they have like any wide receivers.
Well, he would fit in well here then.
Yeah, yeah, we don't have any either. So I don't know. It would be fun to rip on him all the time because then it would be interesting if they did draft him just from this standpoint. I wonder if people would treat him like, because there's so many Penn State fans here, if they would treat him with like kid gloves here, like he would get the Kenny Pickett treatment that, like, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that would be interesting. And like,
yeah.
and it's just a thought because he might fall.
It would be fun to expose the Penn State fans. Not that you know, it's always fun to make them look like the hypocrites they are. Whoops, they say out loud.
Yeah,
Um, anyway, the Steelers lose to the Chargers, 25-10. Another West Coast loss. Tim, actually, they were 7-2 before this game. He had a bad record to 2019, and he kind of righted the ship. So I guess they're 7-3 now. Rogers threw two interceptions and a safety. I didn't see the last interception, but that's right. It was tipped, wasn't it?
yeah,
There was
bounced
one
off
that,
Austin's hands.
yeah. So I don't blame him for that, but the safety was terrible. I mean, and the first interception totally turned the game in the Chargers' favor. And I think that was when I think back about it, that was him pressing because like the guy wasn't open. That cap just was not open, and you just got to take another sack. And like another thing is like he was running around a lot, like early, like they would miss blocks. And I don't was that Broderick Jones that was had a really bad game. Like somebody was missing a lot of blocks at tackle. I know they were missing Sayumalu and what's his name, the center. Isn't great. He's a solid center, but he's not like Hall of Famer by any stretch of the imagination. But
Yeah, the offense, we kept saying for weeks, like the offense isn't the problem. The offense isn't the problem. But last week,
the
yeah,
offense was the problem because they really did. The defense did fine, and they lost the time of possession again because they just cannot run the ball. Jalen Warren had 70 yards, but the bigger problem was they went 2 for 11 on third down and 0 for 1 on fourth down. And you have to go, like, I think I looked, the Chargers offense went 6 for 17, which is 35%. And that's right about where you want to be as a defense. That's not bad for a defense, quite honestly. And they did give up 110 yards rushing, but that was between two guys. I didn't think the defense was terrible. They gave up like a really tightly contested pass to that long pass to McConaughey,
hmm
that lad guy. Like that was like literally 3 inches away from being knocked away. So I didn't think the defense played bad, but they just can't run the ball, and that's what drives me nuts is they just can't run the ball. And I think they need what's his name, the offensive lineman, to get back healthy because they can't run the ball when they don't have that heavy extra offensive lineman package.
right, right,
And I
yes,
think that's the only time they can really run the ball, and they need that. And when they have that, that kind of like the rest of their offense flows off of that.
yeah,
So
yeah. Salomon being out, and then Anderson not being able to be that extra guy, that definitely threw off the offensive line and threw off the running game. Rogers was just bad, like you said. He was just bad. I mean, you can't criticize him too much because he's been really, really solid this season.
but I think it's just they don't have a deep threat, and they're kind of like Kansas City was before. Like they have to almost grind everything out and play
Mhm.
defense, and you could win games like that. It's just not like you end up to start piling up injuries because you have to play a full 60 minutes. Whereas like the Chiefs blow somebody out, and by the fourth quarter you're resting Patrick Mahomes, or you don't have to like really go all out. You don't have to have him sit back there and throw the ball 50 times. And that's going to limit his exposure on getting hurt.
And you're right; they do have to run the ball better. Like they're getting into now the cold weather months. They really have to figure out how to have a solid running game. I think you said about the time of possession. They have some kind of like historically low time of possession so far this
Well, it's
season.
because I didn't look up their third down conversions for the season, but I bet that's low too. Like
Yeah.
that's the problem. That's what's affecting the time of possession is they're not picking up third downs. And Tomlin even said that after the game. What lost in the game was turnovers and not converting third downs, and that's honestly what it was against the Chargers.
Yeah. And the defense, like you said, the defense has been better the last 2 weeks.
Maybe they kind of figured like we were figured maybe they would figure out the secondary, and maybe they have now. With Jalen Ramsey at safety, and I guess is Slay hurt? He got concussed, didn't he, or
Yeah,
something?
he's in the protocol. So they signed Asante Samuel
Oh
um,
my gosh, really?
Jr. So
Oh God.
yeah,
Well,
not the guy that played,
okay.
not his dad, played 20 years ago. Um,
So,
but you know, and then they cut Juan Thornhill, which was interesting because he was their starting safety at the beginning of the season. So they're definitely shaking up the secondary, and like you said, I think they're starting to figure that out. They defense wasn't great, like that one touchdown to McConkey, like he just totally just like smoked Eccles over the middle. That they gave Vidal a bunch of like chunk runs, like a bunch of like 9-10 yard runs.
yeah.
So they weren't perfect, but it was definitely like they played solid enough, and then they dropped like some interceptions. If they would have made a couple of those splash plays,
Yeah, there was one I remember where the guy like Herbert threw right to him.
yeah,
All he had to do was squeeze it, but I think that
yeah,
was Joey Porter Jr. actually.
it might have been, but it's
Yeah.
like so the defense wasn't great, but they certainly weren't. It's not like a couple of weeks ago where they were just getting gutted. This week will be interesting because now they play Cincinnati again, which is one of the teams that gutted them. So that'll be a good test for the defense, I know, and it'll be a good chance for the offense to hopefully get back on track.
Yeah, that's a get right game for sure. Yeah, this is their schedule. This is their next four, and I'm a big believer in the late Ton Jokins phrase that every month the NFL kind of turns over, and so I'm going with 4 game like spots here. So now they're only 1 game up on Baltimore, and boy, were you right about Baltimore, Tim. Once they got into
Yeah.
the easier part of their schedule, they are coming on strong.
Yep.
So the next four are, like we said, the aforementioned Bengals, which should at least the offense should get on track. I don't know if they'll be able to stop, especially with a guy off the scrap heap corner. So I mean, unless Joe Flacco like has finally like kind of shot his wad and he goes back to being 40-year old Joe Flacco, but whatever. So that's Bengals, and then the Bears, which are surprisingly decent team since they got like a decent coach, and he's getting a lot out of that Caleb Williams. So that's not going to be a walkover game. And then the Bills. That's an interesting game now. I thought that would be probably a loss. Now I'm thinking, I bet the Steelers win that. I I bet the Steelers' backs are against the wall for that game because they probably win one, lose one. It's Bengals Bears. I don't know which one they win and lose, but I don't think they win both. If they win both, I'd be shocked or pleasantly surprised at least. But I think they beat the Bills, and then the Ravens. I don't know. Toss up game. That's a flip a coin in the air when the Ravens and the Steelers play. So they could be playing for a tie in the division by the time the Ravens roll around. I didn't look at who the Ravens are playing. I think the only teams the Ravens have left that have a winning record are at this point in the season are the Patriots and Green Bay. In Green Bay, who looked so good when we played them, has looked not that good since we played. They've lost
Yeah.
2 in a row,
Yeah.
and one of those games was the Carolina, who's respectable this year, but it's not exactly like they're going to the Super Bowl or anything, or even making the playoffs.
It's like you said, Steve, about what Tunch always said. It flips every four
Yeah,
weeks. It flips. So Green Bay's going to the Super Bowl. Oh, Green Bay sucks. And then 4 weeks from now, Green Bay's going to the Super Bowl. So that's just the way the NFL goes. It's a long season.
well, injuries. I think too the injuries and like coaches figuring out after the injuries what they have,
Uh,
and teams kind of figuring how to play. Because like I think you get a major injury, and then maybe it takes you a week or two for the coaching staff. Okay, we got this guy. We got to kind of shuffle things around, and the team kind of learns how to play with that injury sometimes. So you got that going on too. That's an underrated thing that I don't think people realize. So
Yeah, I don't know where the Steelers go after this, honestly.
I mean, is this season about to come off the rails? Are they? I don't think they're going to lose
no.
every game. I think, like I said, I think they'll at least win 7 games. They probably beat the Bengals somewhere, and I think there's another. They have like another game against Cleveland, right? So, that might be your 2 wins right there for the rest of the year.
I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be just like it has been all season. Like they've played some really good teams. Some of them they've beaten. They beat New England and Indianapolis, are 2 of the best teams in the
But
AFC.
look at what it took. They had to get 6 turns. Like that's not sustainable. Like I keep saying.
But that's not like that. Oh, lucky that they got 6 turnovers. They caused all the turnovers and they played well. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah. Well, the Patriots are ended up being really good this year.
they might be the 1 and 2 seeds in the AFC. Those 2 teams. But then we also lost to the Packers, the Seahawks. Seahawks look really good. The Chargers, like these are good teams too. That'll be the way the rest of the season goes. We'll win, like, we have some really tough games: Buffalo, Detroit, Baltimore. We'll win some of those. We'll lose some of those. We'll probably lose a game we weren't supposed to. We'll win some games we weren't supposed to, and then we'll be right around that
9, 10
and
wins.
8. And I think they're good enough to be a playoff team. I actually think they're good enough to win a playoff game because look at how they've.
I said that at the beginning of the season. I thought they would win a playoff game this year just because they have a for real quarterback.
Right. So I think that's their ceiling. I think their ceiling is they're good enough to get in the playoffs. They're good enough to win a playoff game, and that's about it. I don't think their ceiling is any higher than that. And again, like going back to the beginning of the season, people that are upset right now, like no offense, but like what did you expect? Like this was not a team that was built to win a Super Bowl. This was a bridge team that had a lot of holes that they tried to patch with a 42-year-old quarterback and Jalen Ramsey and people like that. And again, kudos.
Darius Slay.
Well, not so much kudos to Darius Slay, but they patched it pretty well. Like they're contending, which is what they aim to do every season.
It isn't like Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's not been anything for Miami. I think he recovered a fumble the other day, but it was like he didn't cause it. He just fell on the ball. He was just there.
They made moves good enough to keep them, not in the cellar, but it's not a team that's going to win a Super Bowl. It's a team that, like I said, like I keep saying, this is the early 2000 Steelers where, you're starting to draft some players, you're starting to develop some players, but you need to pull it all together with the quarterback, and they don't have that yet. So until they do, then expect more seasons like this. I don't know what else to say.
So you think they're not going to stack wins? You think they're going to kind of go win 1 week, lose the next?
Yeah, I mean, or like 2-1, 1-2, like that. It's just the way the season. I think that the way the season has gone, I think the rest of the season will go the same way.
Do the Ravens make the playoffs?
Oh, the Ravens. I think the Ravens win the division hands down. I think they'll pass us. I think
I don't know, Tim. They have to play us twice. I think those 2 games are going to decide the division, and they have to win both, Tim. They can't lose any of those games, at least to us in the division.
I think by the time we play them in 4 weeks, they'll be in first place and we'll be a game behind.
Interesting. All right. All right. Well, that's it for this edition. Check us out on Facebook. Leave comments. Tell us how Tim is wrong, how the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl this year, and how your love for sudden death knows no bounds. It was robbed of an Oscar in '95. Who won the Academy Award in 1995, Tim?
Braveheart.
Okay. Yeah. So definitely deserved it over that. That's one of Tim's talents, by the way. He knows all the Super Bowl MVPs and all the Academy Award winners. So.
It's the most useless skill ever.
Who's the Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 32?
Okay, that would have been Terrell Davis.
I love it. It's the funnest game ever. All right, we'll continue this fun at a later date. Thanks for listening. For more insightful and entertaining games, thank you and God bless.